All right, so for the very first step of this assembly, first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out the ornament. I am using a craft knife to do this, and I'm actually just going to be cutting just on the inside of the stamped line image. I want to see that stamped line. Personal preference. If you prefer to not have it there, you can absolutely not, but I think it gives it a nice border. If you would prefer, you could, actually no, you couldn't. I was going to say you could use a die cut, but I'm going to hand cut around the hand, and I don't want to lose that detail, and if you were to use a die cut, you would lose that detail. All right, that is all cut all the way through. Oh, there's a point there where it's not cut all the way through, so let's go. There we go. And definitely work on a mat. Don't cut right on your craft table. And then just a nice pair of detail cutting scissors to cut around the hand, because it would look awfully silly if we cut our little angel's hand off there. And same with the hand, I'm cutting just on the outside of the stamped image, because I want to be able to see that detail. It is a bit of an awkward area to be cutting, but it looks much nicer when you do the hand, or when you do the detail cutting. There we go. A little bit around the thumb there. Pull that piece out. There we go. All right, we will move this stuff to the side. Now the very first thing we need to do with that hole is we need to put our piece of acetate. And this just has some tissue protecting it. We don't need to keep that, but you want to make sure that your acetate is a good size that covers the edge of the area. I have this tape here and it's yellowed a little bit with age, but it will still do the job to glue our piece of acetate down. There we go. Tape that I normally use is Be Creative tape or Suk Wang tape. So this is a little bit different. The Be Creative doesn't yellow. I'm just going to put a little bit of collage medium here just so that that hand doesn't get caught on anything. So the Suk Wang doesn't yellow. This one has got a bit of yellow to it, but I'm trying to use up some of the supplies that I have that I haven't used up. All right, now before we put anything onto the back of our card, we need to do our shaker window. So I'm taking those thin strips. I don't think they're really meant to be curved like this because they don't sit super flat, but they sit flat enough that it is able to be done. But rather than having this entire window, the shaker part, I'm only doing this because if this entire window was the shaker, all of these bits would fall to the bottom and we wouldn't see them. So I am just building kind of a little bit of a dam, if you will, around that cutout area. So those shaker bits are exactly where we want to see them. There we go. This is going up, it's not going to matter, it's enclosing the whole thing. Now I'm going to put my little shaker bits in there. Now this glitter does like to stick to that window. I left it like that because I liked it. If you don't want the glitter to stick to the window, you can use your anti-static tool and brush the acetate before you assemble it. I liked it because I thought it kind of made it look like it was a kind of an all-over glittery ornament. There we go, some bigger star sequins in there. And then I'm going to put this to cover the back of it. You could do that any color. I wanted it just to be a nice metallic ornament. So that's why I chose the silver. And again, just using scraps for this. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to cut up a whole sheet of paper if you don't have a whole sheet of paper. I'm just going to cut this a little bit smaller. Make sure that that hole is completely covered. If by chance these edges bother you, you can cut the excess off, but you certainly don't have to. This is all going to be hidden. It's sticking to my card. This is all going to be hidden, so it's not going to be something that you really see, but if that bothers you, you can cut it off. Now we're going to take some thicker double-sided tape, and obviously we can't put tape there because that is already risen higher because of the foam tape we used to make our shaker, but we are going to put it around the other edges of the card. And ideally, like I said before, ideally I'd love the shaker part to be in the center so then I could put this foam tape all over the over all the sides. But that's just not how this image was, and I just liked this image for this application. All right, now let's take the backing off here. Glue it to our card front, but make sure you've got it folded the correct way because we want to make sure that it sits right. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of here. Doesn't need to look pretty. Just going to get out of the way. Center it on the front of the card. Now I did cut this a little bit smaller so that you could see the outline from the card. And then this piece here, put that on foam pop dots as well. I'm just using the same tape just for convenience, but you could use smaller foam pop dots if you preferred. There we go. Or if you preferred, you could even cut it flat if that is what you would rather do. And then last step, we're going to put our stickles on there. Oh, this is my empty one. There we go. And now we need to let those stickles completely dry, but I can show it to you without touching them. So there we go. So like I said, the glitter sticks to the whole ornament. I like how that looks, and I knew that was going to happen. But if you don't want that to happen, A, you could try not using glitter. You could just use bigger sequins. B, just use your anti-static tool, and that will help eliminate that. There we go. Cute little shaker incorporated within a stamped image.